Hi everybody, welcome back to another reading about, you guessed it, you're so smart, my followers, I love you guys. Yes, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. But tonight we're going to do a bit of a reading about Daniel, or Dan. It's Glidewell. Sometimes when I'm channeling, like little things like that just go by so fast in my mind I can't remember. But I know him as Dan, and I have been paying attention to his energy as well. And also Gypsy's brother, Dylan Blanchard. I read somewhere that her brother came to the house, the Habitat for Humanity house, but that's not true. He was not there. He did not find Dee Dee's unalive body. But before I continue, let me just say that everything in this video, this channeling, this reading, is alleged and for entertainment and speculative purposes only. I am just a channeler, and yeah, that's it. This is entertainment and speculative purposes only. So so what are we doing now? So I've been getting a lot of questions, comments. My own consciousness is aware, mostly about Dan. I have my own ideas about Dan, but someone else, one of the other followers on this channel, I love you guys. Thank you for the questions and your comments. It helped me, decide who I'm going to channel and what I'm going to ask about. So thank you for all the comments. Keep them coming. So yeah, I want to do Christy and Blanchard side of the family. There's a lot of cray going on there, like really like FUBAR stuff. But in particular, I'm going to try to keep this short. Yes, there are a lot of cards, but I'm going to try to keep it short. And we're just going to do Dan, the first guy Gypsy was involved with before Nicholas. We're going to do Dylan Blanchard. We're going to take some Gypsy Oracle deck because, of course, they're Gypsy Oracle cards. And we're going to do, check out the Soul, Dan and Dylan. We're going to do a little energy as well. Of course, we have tea because it's always piping hot and scaldingly truthful. And some parting suggestions or advice for these people in Gypsy's life. I mean, any other people could come out. I like to assign a deck to these different people in Gypsy's life, but it's not always necessary. And yes, we still do have Gypsy's deck. Oh, look, I looked at it. Oh no, what is it? It's the King of Cups. Oh no, King of. Oh man, it's the. Look at the baby, King of Wands. Look at the baby. This is just. And look at her eyes. So confused. Okay, this is Gypsy's deck. We may use this, but she really hasn't changed much since I read her last. So we're gonna focus on these other men. Especially, I'm very curious to know about Dan, because I think about how could Gypsy have really pulled off the alleged murder of her mother all by herself. It turns out Gypsy may be cleverer than we thought. Things are not always as they seem, thinking a little tiny thing can't do this. No, with the power of darkness, you could pretty much fly. That's what they used to say about witches, right? They could fly and inhabit people's bodies and stuff. So yeah, Gypsy has a lot of power. But before we start with Dan and Dylan Blanchard, and I will eventually get to Gypsy's Blanchard family in general, like Christy, that's a whole Scheisse show, FUBAR show going on there. Rod and Christy, what they did to Dee Dee and Gypsy is just I don't even want to talk about it right now. It'll taint the energy for these cards if I start thinking about that. And then Mia has a role to play, Gypsy's half-sister. So right now we're just going to do her half-brother. And then she has another, allegedly, Nicolette, I think her name is, half-sister. We'll do those readings a little later. I'm actually going to try to keep this really short, but you know me, so settle in. Grab your favorite snacks and get comfortable. Now, as we all know, this is the, oh, look how sweet, the bunny deck, the Lunalapin deck, and I use this for Aurora. I was putting it away earlier, and so I'm not going to fake shuffle and make this come out. Like, this is real. So, look at, oh wait, it's in the other order, excuse me. So what came out was, again, sorry about the glare, I gotta get a lampshade. But yeah, so, some energy around Gypsy is, actually I just got the message, she's gonna get pregnant again, and I believe she's gonna either have, I don't want to say this, she's gonna unalive her unborn baby. There's a lot of sadness with children and Gypsy, but it's like active sadness. Like she literally wants to, like, you know, stab him in the heart, and you know, another baby would be such a burden on her because she can barely take care of the possible one that she has right now. See, that's the thing with Aurora. I look at all my videos after I do them to see like what I missed or whatever, or, you know, like to file those things away for further readings. And I am still getting kind of like this feeling that Aurora is 50-50. I don't know if she's alive or not. I tend to believe she is, simply because I've seen her in this lifetime, but it could be a future life with different parents or a past life with different parents. It's very vague. Also, I've followed Meghan Markle and her allegedly Archie and Lila Bucks, and those pregnancies were definitely staged. That not Meghan Markle does not have those children from her body, and they used real-born dolls in the beginning. They actually presented the world a real-born doll as Archie. So, like, see, I could see Meghan being able to fake something like that, and now she can't. And we see, you know, Lila Bucks and allegedly Archie all the time, you know, and it's just that Meghan and Harry have the means to hide a child, like, or to hire somebody to have the child for her. Meghan and Gypsy are very similar, actually. I might do a reading about those two someday, but yeah, I've been following Meghan Markle since 2018. And the thing with Aurora is that I see her surrounded by light and angels. So sometimes I feel as if, you know, she didn't quite make it to the earth plane, or yeah, like Gypsy miscarried. But I don't see how she's gonna go forward with that. She doesn't have the means to you know, like Meghan and Harry, like they either bought those children or Meghan had a surrogate. So I believe it's a whole nother story, but they had the means to get away with the lie, the money, the huge mansions, you know, like we don't, stay away from us, we want our privacy, and no, they don't, you know, and until they had to show the children, you know. I don't know how Gypsy could do that. Like, I have no idea what her plan is with that, you know. And that's the other half of the reason why I believe Aurora is real. It's like, it's just, please somebody explain to me, like, how Aurora could not be real. What's Gypsy gonna do in a year or two, you know? Like, if anything goes wrong with Aurora, her illness, she gets ill, injured, anything, people will be on top of her like crazy, watching, because of what Dee Dee did to Gypsy. So I can't imagine how she would explain the disappearance of this baby. So that makes me tend to believe that Aurora is real. You know, I'm getting cards for her though, but like, yeah, like she could not be. She could be like, you know, as I said, she lost her, or maybe she did things to her body that caused her to lose her. Now, I read about microdeletion, and it turns out that 90% of women with a microdeletion can carry babies to term or near term. So it's not unquestionable that she could. It's possible, very possible, that she could have a baby to term, especially with all the attention. And I don't know the doctors, but I'm seeing them right now. They're all signing like NDAs and contracts, because who wouldn't? If Gypsy's famous and Lifetime is filming it, what doctor wouldn't want to? I mean, there are good doctors, but you know, there's big big medical now and stuff. So this came out when I was putting them away. So obviously this wants to be heard. So we have this for baby. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong order in which they came out. And then we have the Tower. Oh dear God. So, and then we have the Devil. And then we have the Milky Way, which is an extra card in this tarot deck. So I keep every card. I don't believe in coincidences. Everything I see or we see is for a reason, even if we don't understand why. It just goes into our brain somewhere and for use later. So this is what this tells me, that my goodness, is Aurora surrounded by negativity. I'm getting a message right now that Gypsy is planning to try to go for another baby and get sympathy and maybe set up a scenario where it's like, oh, I lost the baby. She killed the baby. It's her life is falling apart. And, you know, and she's using dark magic. What do you think happens when Satan comes knocking on your door and says, hey, remember that contract you signed? No, not the one for Lifetime, although that's pretty, you know, Hollywood's not the nicest. But, you know, Satan's like, hey, remember you signed this contract? Yeah, time to pay up. And Gypsy absolutely is going to go to jail, because right before I started to do this reading, I asked my spirit guides and guardian angels, and I call them my spiritual family, my soul family, and sometimes I can channel God. I can't make this up. Didn't ask for it, but God sometimes speaks to me or shows me visions. So I asked some questions, and you know, this is what's going on. I will tell you what God said, and my spiritual team in a moment. It has to do with Dan and Dylan. Okay, so yeah, so basically, you know, Gypsy's life is about to explode, or the truth is going to come out. I mean, like, look at the little bunnies falling at the sides of the volcano. You know, and there's two. You know, it's like I wouldn't doubt that Gypsy would say, like, the stage an accident or something. That would generate a lot of sympathy. Absolutely. And who's pulling all the strings ultimately? You know, like the Prince of Darkness, that's who. Look, Gypsy doesn't even know it. She's still in chains. She uses men. Typically, this is a woman and a man. It's the reverse of the Lover's card, the Garden of Eden. Yeah, Gypsy's using that marriage, that, you know, fake. She's not even married now, but that whole marriage card thingy. And, you know, and so the Milky Way, I don't know what to say about this other than that that's way out there. Like, her plans are like, woo, really crazy out there, you know. But also, I'm feeling very strongly that there is a pathway for her to get out of this, Gypsy, to change. Very strong. I always say that I believe anybody is able to be redeemed if they truly mean it. And for Gypsy to turn away from the dark side and come to the light, we have cookies. And they're not gluten-free, where they're all crunchy and stuff. They're like delicious, soft, homemade cookies. And unless you're not eating gluten, I'll make you some gluten-free cookies. But anyway, yeah. So I have seen this for Gypsy in the past, that she may have an epiphany moment, a spiritual awakening, and she just says no, and she rejects the darkness. But it's going to take something like an explosion for her to freaking realize it, and realize, oh my gosh, I'm on fire here, I'm trapped, I'm chained. You know, and the Milky Way, it's just, also she's got a lot of stuff going on. She wants to be a superstar in the galaxy. And these are the kind of things that, you know, the Prince of Darkness has promised her. Stardom, literally stardom, you know. Also, I'm hearing right now she has attachment, or they are attached to her, other spirits that are attached to her, but not in a negative way. They're positive. They want to help her change into a better person. And, you know, this is where her mind's at, you know. Her body, mind, and spirit is, you know, let me get rid of babies or like hurt them without, I mean, maybe she doesn't even know she's doing it, but she really can't handle being a mother if she is one. And this does tell me kind of that, you know, it is very possible that Aurora, I would think she would have miscarried her, perhaps, not actually unalived her. And that, especially if she goes for pregnancy too, number two, I believe that she will unalive the unborn baby and make it look like a miscarriage. And this is ultimately going to lead to her downfall. And her downfall leads to redemption. So that's what came out when I wasn't even reading for anyone in particular. I was just putting the cards away and these fell out. So let's see. Now, I asked about Dan. Yes, about Dan. So we can put Dylan Blanchard's cards over here. Dan's interesting. Dan worked at VisionCon, a Comic-Con. GD and Gypsy knew him for years, actually. And the only relevancy that Dan has is that he knows that Gypsy could walk. She walked into his house, you know, like she ran to him. So for a long time, I thought that maybe he had helped her unalive Dee Dee with Gypsy, because Gypsy's so small. How could she do this by herself? But no, I literally asked God. I said, was Dan involved? And the answer is no. And I was like, well, then what happened? Yeah, so the devil possessed. I mean, Gypsy's been doing things leading up to the unaliving of her mother for quite some time. But Dan was like, nah, he's not getting involved in this at all. So that's actually what I got in the cards, but I'm going to read it one more time to be sure. So, like, what was Dan's involvement? He wasn't there. I mean, if God says so, God says so. The answer was no. But he was very familiar with Dee Dee and Gypsy because of the the VisionCon, Comic-Con, Fantasy Con, con shows. And Gypsy shows up one night like, you're gonna be my boyfriend and take me away from Mom. No, she didn't want to be taken away from her mother. She was abusing her mother. So let's go and see what's going on with Dan. Get some cards for him, please. Oh, these two have to come out. Was he there the night of the murder? Did I mishear? So, I mean, sometimes I get messages from God and they're confusing. I don't know what God means, and I have to ask more questions or just be patient until the answers come. So, I'm not perfect. Imagine that, I'm not perfect. So what was Dan's role, and what's he up to today? Like, how did he get disassociated from that whole craziness? And poor Nicholas ended up going to jail. This card is calling me. It could start with 4, but somebody's telling me to take 5, so we'll take 5. Okay. I still have a small table. As soon as I move, it's probably going to be one of the first things I buy, a new table, big table. I just can't get rid of my crystals. I keep thinking, oh, just take the crystals off the table. Actually, God told me that 3 months ago, like, build an altar, keep it clean. I am the altar. My apartment's the altar. This literally is the altar. Does this look clean? It's a mess. But anyway, okay, so Dan, his role. Whoa, we got the devil. Oh my gosh, look at this. I cannot make this up. This deck I love this deck, but it's small. I'm going to get the bigger version of it. This is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. So, the devil. This is interesting. Very interesting. So, we have this is why I don't like these. They're so small, I can't read it very well, but it's the Princess of Cups. So, that would be the Page of Cups. Again, the Page of Cups associated with Gypsy. Yeah, I got that. She was trying to get pregnant. That was her main goal with Dan. Once she put it in her head she's going to go to him and be with him. Her plan is always get knocked up, or sorry, I don't want to say it that way, but like that's how Gypsy sees it. There's the 2 men. There's the man and woman chained. There's the man and woman chained. So I mean rabbits, but people. And yeah, there you go. Dan, she tried to put a spell on Dan, absolutely. And she was making plans, like, even though it didn't go through, she was making plans for to try to get pregnant by him. She's like all ready to give up her virginity. Yeah, the fool. Yeah, she tried to play him for a fool, but also he was able to stay away from her and start a new life. In fact, I also checked to see, I just asked my spirit guides, guardian angels, and you know, if God wants to answer, you know, eternal source God wants to give me answers, then I'm listening. But basically, I also was under the impression that Dan had a criminal record, but I asked specifically God, and God said no. And then I checked it and said no, not that they know of. Okay, but that was Google, the second check about it, so I could be wrong. But he escaped that. He escaped this, and he's taken this opportunity to go and live a quiet, peaceful life. You know, people might say he's a fool. He could, you know, like the ones that like Gypsy thinks Dan is a fool. He listened to her mother and didn't give her what she wanted, which is a baby, and like ultimately, you know, whatever she wants with, you know, satanic overtones here. We have the Hangman, but in reverse. Right, so he didn't surrender to that experience of Gypsy, you know, and what she wanted to do with her mother, and yeah, he's been really strength. So, basically, that's the situation with Dan. He was not there the night that Dee Dee was unalived. He was only so involved as much as, you know, in innocence as well, you know, with the Fool Comic-Con every year. There's going to be a Comic-Con every few months, and he would do like work with the Comic-Con. It's not Comic-Con, I think it's called Vision Con. And, you know, he did help. He did, you know, like just as he helped Gypsy pushing her wheelchair or whatever it was. He wasn't as much of a like loser, I guess you could say, as he's been portrayed. No one's perfect, you know, but he avoided that whole, like, I'm getting this feeling right now that he was protected, you know, that like God, since God told me that no, he had nothing, he wasn't there that night. See this figure, even though it's a woman, and we got a lion, and she can pretty much like sit on it, rub its head, and this lion is not gonna hurt this woman. That's like Dan with Gypsy, you know, almost. But yeah, he would comfort her he believed before she showed up at his door, you know, that she really was this sick girl, and you know, that she was really wheelchair bound and all those things, but he had the courage and the strength to not get involved, and it does take a lot of courage and strength to not get involved today, because he could be making money, you know, he could be profiting. You know, I absolutely believe that's what how Ken came back into Gypsy's life, and you know why Chrissy does what she does. You know, it's just profit, money. Unlike Ryan, who truly does believe that Gypsy loves him, and it's not about the fame. Although, of course, Ryan did like that. You can just see it shining in his eyes every time they went on an interview or whatever. Well, okay, there we go. So, and this is Dylan Blanchard, right? So some people asked about him, and we'll see his energy. We got 5 for... Yeah, let's take this. Maybe not. It's sticking. So, okay, we take this one. What can we find out about Gypsy's only half-brother, Dylan? So yeah, Dan narrowly missed being Nicholas. Dan was firm and stuck, and he was not seeing it Gypsy's way. He was like, no, I don't agree with you. I'm not gonna open my mind to the possibility of running away with you, getting pregnant, and marrying you. And the alternative, Gypsy always has plan B. Oh wow, this card's stuck to my hand, so we'll take that. It's a shadow card actually, so let's see what the shadow... Oh, it's 2 actually. What are the shadows? Let's see, for so many. Lost the choice to 7 of Cups. So Dylan, her brother, he's not reliant on like Lifetime and all that kind of stuff to make money and cash in on Gypsy's infamous actions and her cray-cray actions now. No, although I'm hearing that he does have some sort of mental illness, perhaps, some sort of diagnosis, and he takes care of himself. He's also very pure soul too, very pure. But he's not interested in cashing in on his stuff. And it's nice that it goes right next to Dan's strength card, because it's like Dan used strength and refusing to, you know, do what Gypsy wanted, and was strong, and so he didn't. He has nothing to do with the unaliving of Dee Dee, even though Gypsy, that dark presence was there, and she was trying to get. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get banned. Hold on. I just noticed that now. She's not clothed. Yeah. So she tried to use those wiles, and who knows, if Dee Dee hadn't shown up and taken Gypsy home so quickly, maybe, you know, that would have worked. But let's not live in the world of the ifs, the what ifs. Let's talk about what really happened, you know. So yeah, and Gypsy's whole plan was to get pregnant, and Dan was like, nah, I'm not down with that. And he was surprised, I'm sure, to have her like show up at his door and be like, oh wow, cool, you can walk him, but you know, but ultimately he's like, nah, I'm going on my solo journey, I'm not going down your path. So he was very strong. And again, the shadows for Dylan is Six of Cups. He's very innocent. He loves his brothers and sisters. He has a different mother than Gypsy does, and his motives are pure, you know, and he doesn't even have motives. His life is, you know, he has a lot of options, but he could also, I'm picking up that he also may drink a little too much, kind of like Gypsy does. Now, the alcohol, like, gene runs in families, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But yeah, Dylan is, you know, he's innocent. He actually, Gypsy's the oldest by a few months, but you know, Dylan would, like, I'm getting that he would ask his mother, Christy, like, do I have a sister named Gypsy? You know, like, where is she? What's going on? Like, you know, can we play with her, type of thing? And Christy's just like, I don't want to talk about her right now. You know, like, unless we have to talk about money, there's nothing to talk about. So, yeah, and he's also very firm on this. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He really doesn't want to be associated with Gypsy, using all his power and strength, just like Dan is, to stay out of the spotlight and have a quiet life. So Dylan has to defend himself quite often from all these. These are not only just choices, but, you know, all the cray-cray that's going on around him and his family. And, you know, he may feel as if he's being attacked. I mean, look, I'm doing a reading on him to see, like, if he had any horrible motives, you know, dark motives in Dee Dee's death in any way. Because here's the thing, Gypsy was planning in many different ways. She was stealing from Dee Dee, allegedly stealing from Dee Dee before Dee Dee was unalived. Other little weird things that would happen, like Dee Dee's purse would go missing. Dee Dee couldn't find coupons for the Domino's delivery guy, and she'd end up fighting with him, and the cops would get called. Psychological games, gaslighting. There's one in particular, really, it's like, whoa, nice work, Gypsy, if you want to be a psychopath. But their van, their little minivan for Gypsy's wheelchair, they were at Walmart, and her mother filed a report, Dee Dee filed a report with the police that something was missing, or her car was damaged, and the license plate's taken off. That's Gypsy doing that. Say, I need to use the bathroom, and like roll outside, you know, take those plates off. I'm getting a feeling that Dan might have helped her with things like that just to help her escape. Like, oh, they can't. But Gypsy is very, very intelligent. She's always thinking 2 steps ahead of anybody else with her own plans. And so, you know, you hear her say this often, that was plan B. She always makes plan B, even if it's only in her head, and she doesn't always follow through with plan B. But, oh my gosh, plan B. Is that not the medicine prescription you can take? Not on a pad, Gypsy, but, you know, you go to your GYN and, you know, you don't want to get pregnant, even though you might be saying the opposite, and then now you have an unalived baby, usually in the toilet, is my understanding about plan B, the morning after pill, which used to be called plan B. So Dylan, there is a lot of fiery energy, obviously, in his life, in his family, the Blanchard family. But it's like he stands up for himself. He's not taking this crap. Like, I'm telling you that the media has come after him for his opinions. They want to know what she was like as a child, what his relationship with her was, all these sorts of things. And you see, it's always there around him. And he always he feels as if he has to defend himself. But his way of defending himself is through being quiet. So we have the Ten of Swords here, and so like this caused him to go. This event with Gypsy caused him to make hard decisions, whether on the outside or consciously or unconsciously. And it actually helped him decide how much he was going to be involved with his family during all this insanity. Yeah, see, he goes for the happily ever after, but in a really healthy way. And he can have that because he's been through the darkness. He's been through the whole, you know, gotta sign NDAs, you're Gypsy's brother, and we want you on camera for a lifetime. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't take this. He tried to fight back, see? He's got the sword in his hand. Yeah, Gypsy would throw him under a bus in a heartbeat if it meant more money for him. So, what I was saying before is that I had this thought that maybe when Gypsy was stealing from her mother and trying to make Dee Dee believe she's going crazy, or she is making her go crazy by stealing money, stealing the coupons for Domino's pizza. Now her mother can't find it. Dee Dee's flipping out. You know, she's fighting. So if Gypsy wanted to say anything bad about her mom, to be like, yeah, she gets angry, she always calls the cops, she's insane, there's nothing really wrong, she couldn't find a coupon for pizza. You know, like, who would steal the license plates off a car? Like, what? You need that, you're in a wheelchair. Like, who would do that to you? And Gypsy did it to make her mom look crazy. Dylan is off living his best life. He had to fight off all this fame. And so I was saying about the money, that I thought, it just occurred to me that maybe Gypsy even approached Dylan, or it could be Mia, it could be Nicolette, her other half-sister. However, she goes to men. You know, she's got the devil behind her. She's got devil energy. She's a female. She goes to men, even if they're her half-brother. Okay? And it happens in the Bible all the time. Relatives, you know, tricking each other in the old version of the Old Testament. But so then I had that thought that maybe she appealed to him for help, and she would like split money with him, have an accomplice, and it might have been him, but it's not. You know, clearly it's not. He has a quiet, happy life. He earned it. He went through the darkness. He earned it, and he really had to fight. That, you know, and I'm hearing right now, not just for Gypsy, but even his own like relationship with Rod and Christy. He had to leave. He had to defend himself. He had to disavow himself from his family, and because this is what he wants. I don't know if he is married and has children, but he can have it. It's what he wants, or actually has at this time. The Page of Wands, yeah, so he sticks to his courage, and he is courageous and firm. And the Eight of Wands, so this is an open-ended card. I don't know why it came out last, but it's coming out under the devil. So it's like, yeah, Gypsy might curse her entire family for not helping her, because one day she's going to be back in jail and she will be alone ultimately. You know, like, I think Ken may give her visitation of Aurora, but we're not there yet. But that's usually what I see, that Ken gets Aurora if she is real. I will admit that I may have made a mistake about Aurora being alive. I just can't see how they're going to pull this off. You know, no baby. I could see her doctoring pictures, photoshopping them, real-born dolls. Wow, I see her up at night researching all this stuff. But ultimately, there you go. Ultimately, like, how is she going to explain this later on? Oh, the baby died. What? You know, like, after what's happened to her medically? Come on. Let's open our minds here and chime in the comment section. So, well, these fell upside down, so I'll just read them the way they did, like this way. The Emperor. So yeah, very stability, strong, goes very good with this card he is the master of his world. He knows what he's doing, and I'm getting he does have a family, or will have a family like this. And oh, look at him, even too, the Hierophant, like right next to each other. He's very stable energy, very grounded, very he may be religious. If not, he's just an interest. He is a higher learning, even whether he has a degree or not. You know, he follows rules and what institutions say, like the law. You know, he follows those things. He obeys. He is the law of his life. He is the law of his happily ever after. He is the emperor of his happily ever after, which is very stable, grounded energy, very firm. And you get all these mountains. Like he's also hiding out from, like I said, from all the attention and cray cray going on, you know. So, and he underwent like some little spiritual death to be able to get these things. And the Page of Wands just is a confirmation that that's what happened. He had a lot of choices come at him. He just wanted like peace and harmony, and you know, like can we just all get along type of attitude, like sweet gifts for his own mother, you know, who is not deity. And he's a good son. That's what I'm hearing. He's a good son. Yeah, so basically he is in control of his world, and it's a good world. It's, you know, the seemingly cult of domesticity. No, that's from the 50s, 1950s. But no, and with these two major arcana, he's like very firm about his choice. And, you know, he's had to make very quick decisions. Things just like Gypsy just flew into his life like a Tasmanian devil. And, you know, he fought back. He held his ground. Just like Dan did too. Dan also. It's just that with Dylan, it was like way more in his face, you know, because he's her brother. And in Dan's case, you know, Gypsy was like, she's 16, she's underage. You know, she lied to him. But he didn't want to, you know, be involved with alleged statutory rape. I don't know if I can even say that, but, you know, Gypsy's underage is what he was led to believe. So let's see. We have some answers. And yeah, and the Page of Wands was right behind the Eight of Wands. So something good is happening with Dylan. That's nice. I'm glad. You know, something that he's passionate about, and he's going to achieve it. You know, he's ready to start that journey. Maybe to marriage. Maybe he's just starting that journey to have his own family. 2 kids. Look at that. Nice house in the country, and there's no trouble. There's no blah. So this was originally over here. So look at all this strength under the devil, the tower. It's not really affecting him. He knows how to run away and try to defend himself, but ultimately, you know, this benefited him. If I, you know, had a chance to speak to him, I'd be like, wow, you did a really good thing by not getting involved. I'm hearing he's a good brother though too. Like if it was necessary, he would help. He would absolutely help his sister Gypsy. I'm not so sure about now, but depends on what kind of help she's talking about. But I see only light around him, and so he's he's in the stage of making, or he had to make a lot of choices, but he also, today with all this coming at him, but he can handle it. He's got the Page of Wands here, he's the Emperor, the Hierophant. He may be religious even, and that is his protection. He's very solid and stable and grounded inside. So let's see the energy going on around. Oh, it just flipped. Strength. Yes, we must be strong for these readings. So let's see what the energy is going around Dan. Since he met Gypsy, we could put it that bluntly, like that openly, like, you know, what's Dan's energy? What's going on with Dan? You know, is he even thinking about contacting Gypsy? Does Gypsy ever think about him? Like, what's the energy surrounding Dan? Come on. Oh, this card. Oh, great. Prophets and ancient seers, decisions, predictive guidance. Yeah, so absolutely. He's protected from Satan here. Let's just cover Prince of Darkness up. He was nearly sucked into the darkness by Gypsy. but he made good decisions, and he also has angels of light around him, and actually him acting like the fool, which is not a fool, it's just an innocent person who is starting like a big life journey all over again. I'm quite sure that after this gypsy thingy, you know, he would want to disavow, well, since he made the choice to do so, he would not give in to her. You know, he would not give in. He was not that afraid. Or actually he was. It's like, this doesn't have to be Dan. This could be Dan. And this could be Gypsy. And Gypsy's like, oh, let me touch you and take care of you in a minute. And Dan's like, nah. Hell no. Heck no. Not happening. You know, he was strong enough. Just like Dylan, standing up for himself. So, let's see about Dylan. Oh, Rod and Christy are going to be coming up. You better believe it. But right now, it's just Dylan. And let's see. What is Dylan's energy now with Gypsy? Oh, beneath the surface. Hidden truth. Something unknown. Yeah. He knows things, but he has chosen no. And look, I'll call your attention to 3-1 here. The Emperor's fourth. This reduces to 4. Stability. Sensibility, double harmony, double balance, you know. I'm hearing building a house, like a literal house, like he knows what he wants in life, like building a house, and having that stability. And who doesn't want something to be known? Oh, Dylan. His energy, his guides are saying like, okay, stop talking about Dylan so much, you know, like he's okay. You know, yes, he does know something, but he is Rod and Christy's son, so why wouldn't he know things? But just like that iceberg here, he doesn't talk about it. He keeps it hidden because he doesn't want to be in the spotlight. And Dan realizes that I mean, obviously, you know, with Gypsy in the news, and look, and you know that like he chose not to be under her spell. He used good decision making and avoided her. And we have the number 18, which is the 9, which is completion. He is not going to be in her life ever again. Put that right over the devil card. So, and then Dylan knows what really Gypsy, what she's like, and what really went on. Is he doesn't think it's worth his time or anybody else's, really. He's not interested. He just wants to move on with his life, and he has a good life. Even if it's just an average life, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, just a plain married whatever life. And whose energy is this? Wait a second, why am I doing a third energy? Because this was these cards just fell out when I was putting them away, and though they're Baby Aurora's deck, it could, like, I get a lot of Gypsy in there. With the Tower, man, that really makes me think that maybe Aurora is not real, or that she's going to hurt her somehow, because look at that. She already is hurting her in small ways, or she's a baby. Every way she hurts her is wrong. It's a big way. And it's all being guided by Shaitan. And you know, like, this is almost like a never-ending path. But since this is Baby Aurora's deck, you know, like I said, she's got tons and tons of angels and ancestors surrounding her, including Dee wants to take care of her. So, I don't know. Shall we do one card for Baby Aurora? Let's see. Energy. Oh, I was hoping to get this done in like a half hour, but of course it's me. So, like I said, I hope you get your snacks and relax. Also, if you keep watching, or just leave the video on in the background, the algorithm on YouTube is happy. So, I saw this before. Past life guides. My goodness, Aurora is really... she's gone through a lot in her life in the past, and she's overcome a lot of her karma in this world, which is why she's going to bring all that love and resolution later on, if she can stay strong and not fall prey to Satan, because Gypsy shows up and, you know, Satan's going to be around her mini death, you know, or stabbing bunnies in the heart, you know. So, but oops, sorry. So Baby Aurora, 7 is not only a frequency of luck, but let's just stop right there with Aurora for luck. Past life guides, you know, she even has not only Saint Michael on her side, and Saint Archangel Michael and Archangel Chamuel, who's love. She also has yeah, like I said, ancestors who also look out for her. Dee Dee wants to take care of her, and it's even Ken does, but she's got that. But you see right here, karmic lessons. So this is why she has so much love. She's already learned most of her karmic lessons and done away with that energy, and she has present assistance. See? So she, like I said, she's not going to be that bad off, because Gypsy might neglect her, but she really can't hurt her. Not really. She's too protected. So what else are we gonna do? We're gonna do some Gypsy Oracle cards, and then maybe the soul, and maybe some, well, we gotta do some tea. And then we have parting advice for these for Dan and Dylan, but it's like we know everything pretty much. Plus, you know, but still, you never know what the cards might say. Even I'm surprised from time to time, like, whoa, I didn't expect that. But here, oh, love. Oh, so Dan has another girlfriend. And yeah, he might have thought he was, you know, maybe falling in love with Gypsy because she can put spells on men. But no, he escaped. And so he has love in his life. Romantic love. So he's never going back to Gypsy. Never. He might be associated with her, but, like, you know, people chatting online and stuff. But physically, on his end, he's not going anywhere near her. And then we have Peacock for Dylan, and, you know, we're going to say with this, it does say haughtiness. He's a little arrogant, you know, but he is Rod and Christy's son, so I'm not too surprised about that. But he's not really hurting anybody by preening and looking good, you know, so that's fine. You know, he's just a little, and also, look, he's shut himself off. There's a wall, and usually you see peacocks on the floor, not up in a tree, so he's away from the world of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. He lives in his own world, and he is the emperor and the pope of his own world. So, and whoever his future family or his current girlfriend, wife, family is. And should we pull Baby Aurora since we've already mentioned her already? Let's see. This is a lot. I'm sorry I put you guys through all this stuff. Like I said, you can just leave it running in the background while you want, I don't know, do the dishes or tidy the house or whatever it is you do. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, it's not service. These are hard to read because it's in script, and this is not the best lighting. So what does this say? Oh, doctor. Oh man. Yeah, you know, I kind of knew this. I believe that Gypsy has passed on the gene, the microdeletion gene, to Aurora. So it seems that Aurora is, or Gypsy, oh my gosh, I just got the creepiest feeling right down all my chakras. Oh my gosh, from head to root. Gypsy, you know what Munchausen by proxy really is? I don't see how Gypsy could do that after her history with her mom, but, you know, Aurora, I've seen her in the future as healthy, playing gymnastics, taekwondo, or some other martial arts, but no, I'm feeling right here that, like, Gypsy is gonna, either Aurora just is born with, like, maybe microdeletion gene got passed on to her, or, and so she'll need some medical help. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just got this creepy feeling that Gypsy is gonna do the kinds of things that her mom did. But see, Dee Dee, Munchausen by proxy can't happen because Gypsy would be dead. That's what Munchausen by proxy people do. They ultimately kill their victim through alleged, you know, like medical reasons. So let's see the soul. Let's see Dan's soul. Though I'm pretty sure we got most of everything we got, but it's like I took the cards out and I shuffled them and stuff. So let's see. Like I said, sometimes even I'm surprised. But oh my gosh, I hope that Gypsy isn't letting Aurora be sick or even tries that crazy move. Who knows? Gypsy's insane. Like, I don't see Aurora in her future. Never. I see an empty cradle. That's what I see for Gypsy. We got two. So we have here for Dan, friendship. Yeah, he was a good friend to Gypsy for a while, and then she took it up a notch. I understand that a friend in my life, sorry, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So he's got friends, he's got, you know, love. He's resisted the devil and temptation, and he didn't get sucked in by Gypsy, and he did try to keep it on a friendly level until she got a little older, I guess, or she threw her sex vibe at him. And so, you know, but this is what saved Dan. I'm getting like some good energy from him, even though I said apparently he doesn't have it. He wasn't a felon, convicted felon, and he had been out of jail. No, he helped set up Vision Con. He did do nice things. He did, you know, just because somebody goes to jail for something doesn't mean that they're a terrible person, like for all time and eternity, you know. So yeah, he was trying to be friends with Gypsy. She wanted to take it up a notch. I'm not surprised. I was looking at all the orange and then these cards for Dylan. Change. Yeah, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Yeah, there's a lot of well, he has 3 wand cards, and that indicates, you know, fast movement and fiery passion. And in this particular case, his soul has changed. He got away from that stuff, and he keeps it quiet. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's not trying to profit from it. And we got Baby Aurora going on here, and I touched 2, so I'm going to do this again because I can't believe that 2 cards her soul. What's going on with Baby Aurora's soul? What goes on with her soul when Gypsy leaves her all alone in the crib? Well, that one just jumped out. Definitely want to be heard. Oh, abundance. Yeah, nice. I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. That is what Aurora is going to do. Right now, she's Gypsy's meaning of abundance. You know, mostly that's what. Although she ignores her, like people are talking about, why didn't she do so much? You know, Aurora and blah blah blah. People. Gypsy stays relevant as long as Aurora's more in the picture, and Ken brings them abundance. I don't know about you, but I am a mother, and, and children are expensive. Of course, I would pay whatever to give my child a good life, the best life I could. But yeah, again, Aurora is a limitless being with potential power, like to bring in healing, love, and resolution. And yeah, she has, I don't see her doing anything like huge with her life, like fame or fortune or anything like that, but just her quiet presence alone. And if she is not real, and what I would get is that she died, like Gypsy miscarried, from the other side, Aurora would be doling out abundance. So let's finally see. The Gypsy Oracle deck is much like the tea leaves, but every now and then I like to pull them out because the Gypsy deck, because they're the Gypsy deck, and I actually don't like that deck very much, but I'm like, oh, see, I have it for a reason. I used to have it put away all the time. So who are we talking about? Oh, that one came out for Dan. All right, this Dan really wants his name cleared. He wants his name absolutely cleared and separated from this craziness. So it had to come out. Okay, they want to be heard. Okay, so read this one last. This one is Aurora's. Gypsy and Aurora will see the message. So, yeah, for Dan, yoke, okay? Feeling tied down or frustrated, right? He is tied to Gypsy for all time and eternity because of him being friends with her, and then, you know, trying to, well, she kind of surprised him, like came into his life, like I said, like a Tasmanian devil. But he feels like sometimes like people calling and asking him if he wants to do an interview or be part of this, and he feels like, no, get that thing away from me, you know. He is tied to Gypsy forever now, just because she walked into his life, rolled into his life. She walked into his life, and that's when he found the truth. But okay, we have for Dylan, older man, which is interesting. I was getting before, hold on a second, dealings or relationships with an older man. So I was getting that before, but it kind of flitted through my head and out again, that he is close with his father, whether he shows it to us or not. He looks a little like Rod, and he is a lot like his father. I don't know what that means. It just came out of me like he's like his dad, but he doesn't go around marrying like or getting women pregnant and stuff like that. He's much more foundational and like follows the law and even like the rules of religion, whatever religion he is. So, you know, but I did get that he is close to his dad, and there's nothing neither negative or positive about it. I see them kind of like arguing, but it's mostly because Dylan wants to be left alone. So, but Rod's like, no, listen to me, son. And Dylan's like, no, how about you leave me alone? So, and for Baby Aurora or Gypsy, we have Turkey. Someone is behaving stupidly. Yeah, I'm going to say that's Gypsy and Aurora over here. Like, Gypsy's acting ridiculous about Aurora. And even on Thanksgiving with the 5 pictures, the day before Thanksgiving, the pad, the prescription pad, and yeah, this is Gypsy. She's acting like someone is behaving stupidly. I love this. You know, the tea leaves are so blunt. Someone is behaving stupidly. Hello, Gypsy. She does dumb things like try to talk about a prescription pad that like no pharmacy would ever expect. Where's Gypsy on any given day? Walmart. They have a pharmacy. Also, excuse me, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I would like to know what Walmart she uses, because I will write to them and ask them if they can, somebody there can take a picture of Gypsy and Aurora, like up close, secretly up close, and then, you know, we can pay them. We'll start a GoFundMe and we'll pay somebody to take a picture in Walmart of Aurora and Gypsy, and then we can like check it out if it's like CGI'd or if she photoshopped it. I want to do that. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. And then lastly, we have Pin. New job or career. Well, that's not unusual for Gypsy. She's always trying to reinvent herself. It's that her idea of a job is like, I get to act and pretend and I'm a good person and stupid things like that. And she's like, yo guys, I'm so drunk. Like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm getting also a new laptop, so I'm going to hopefully download these little clips of Gypsy and who she really is. So for Dan, we have one more, because you never know. Just like I said, someone can be redeemed at the last moment. Whoa. That just literally flew out of the deck. People can also make bad choices at the end as well. So let's see what we have. Non-duality. Great. This just confirms everything about Dan. Let your authentic humanity shine forth while also bowing to the inner divine. You can become fluent at doing both. But non-duality is, you know, this is a, you know, suggestion, but non-duality means that you have overcome the shadows and you're in perfect balance and harmony. So in regards to Gypsy and his relationship with her, he overcame the darkness with underneath here the Strength card and the Hangman in reverse. He overcame the devil. He overcame that darkness, and he chose to live in the light and not be involved with that insanity. So, and that's just like hardcore coming from Dan. What's going on with Dylan? Let's see. Grief. Tears are what happens when the ice in the heart melts, you know. So like, this has really hurt him, what Gypsy did. Not so much that because he cares so much about Dee Dee or anything, or Gypsy. It's just, it really affected his family. It really affected him. That's why he's died here. 10 of Swords, a mini death. And he just couldn't take it anymore. Look, this guy even looks like he might slit his own throat. Like, okay, that's it. I can't take this anymore. I'm not quite dead yet. I'm not quite dead yet. Make me get out of this situation. And really, he's been exposed to a lot of grief. And the Blanchards have their own version of cray cray going on, you know. So he's been exposed to a lot of insanity, and you know, since he was a child. And I'm not surprised that grief would come up. But again, he's working through it. You know, he's got all these, like, even though it's Rod, like, he'll talk to his dad, you know. So look at this here, and he's a little haughty, but that's okay. Talks to his dad. And for Aurora Gypsy, what do we have? Inner child. Look at that. What does that look like? Allow me to give compassion and love to that little one. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. This is what Aurora's soul is calling out for. It is also Gypsy, what she wants, is what we all want in life. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. Compassion and love to that little one. Okay, so we all have our own inner child, right? But in this case, this is Aurora. In fact, that is kind of what she looks like in the future. She likes the color pink, and she wears her hair in pigtails. And again, see all the lights up here? She has her cross to bear. See how they're like crosses? But they're also lights. And she, again, she's protected. The lotus flower is one of the most sacred symbols on the earth, leading to infinite source God. It grows out of the mud, and right here through the middle is where like the energy would come down and go back and forth between infinite source God and the earth, right? So right smack in the middle, she's protected by God. I just heard God say yes. Oh my gosh, my ears. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ah! I have chills. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My shoulders and my ooh, ow. And my ears and my third eye is all open, and oh my goodness. And God said yes. And I can ask God right now if Aurora's alive or dead, although I'm really feeling Aurora's presence right now. She's laughing and she's playing and she's really happy. I don't like to ask God too many questions. What happened to Moses when he asked twice for water, you know, like I say, you can see the promised land, but you'll never get in there. I don't like to ask God too much, but oh my goodness, my spirit guides, my spirit family, they're going down my spine, give me tingles. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is, oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, Aurora, you know, but she'll be okay. She'll be okay. She just has to let the events that's going on in her life unfold, you know. Ken is there for her, and she's so much surrounded by angels. Oh, I just got a message that Ken's going to announce at some point, you know what, Gypsy? Like, in his mind, he's like, you know what? I'm tired of you holding this over my head. And he's just going to go over and say, yeah, there is no Aurora. Go ahead, put me in jail. I don't care what you have to do. Just get me away from Gypsy. I just had a vision of that. He could do that. There's a good chance he'll do that. He'll just be like, I'm done. I'm done with this stuff. I'm done. My daughter does not exist. And, you know, yeah, I'm here. I'm seeing him speaking to a microphone. I'm being super humble. And I don't think it's a crime to not have a child when they said they had a child. I mean, people lie all the time, especially men when they want to be in a relationship, or women. They'll pull moves like that, like, no, I'm not married, or no, my kids are not, or I don't have any kids. And then you find out there's kids, or the wife or the husband, and it's like, I'm not staying with you. Why would I do that? You lied. Especially about children, you don't do that, you know, or divorce or whatever, you know. But yeah, there's the Aurora. It's also Gypsy, you know, she's been hurt too. But I'm also getting the message right now, very strongly, that she was born, I hate to say this, she was born evil. And, you know, I know somebody else like that. I had a vision for like a half hour of all their past lives. I watched them walk out of their mother, basically, and they came out already on the side of darkness. And I turned on my recorder and I recorded the whole thing, and then I showed it to them. And that person's in jail right now, or they just got out again. Like, they're always in and out of jail because they chose the wrong side. So some people do choose, like, before they're born, when we sign our soul contracts and things like that, they've already aligned themselves with the darkness. I just heard this too. Gypsy's carrying a lot of heavy karma around with her from her past life when she was in the Holocaust. She was killed in the Holocaust. She was, with 6 other women, approximately, in her bunk or in separate bunks. She's very good at organizing things, and to organize, you got to manipulate and stay on your toes and lie and do all these things just to get food, shelter, you know, clothing, or, you know, not get shot, not get sent to the gas chamber. And she was very good at MC number 2. So she was in concentration camp like Auschwitz for like about 2 years. She got very good. I'm hearing she was Polish. She was a capo. The Nazis would do that. They would take somebody in the bunk, in the barracks that you were assigned to. It's like 40 slabs of wood, you know, stretching far down, and they'd elect to block the Altaxter. So, and they would often use Polish Jews against other Jews as they came into the camps. Or whatever, Jewish or not, but there's a big concentration of people Jewish in the Holocaust. just because they were Jewish. So that's what I'm getting, that Gypsy was Polish, and she had been there from the beginning. She's one of the first people shipped to a concentration camp. That's why she knew how to survive and get it together. But she absolutely hated having to like listen to the new people coming in. But that's the experience I've read. I've studied the Holocaust, and that is the experience of the original people who were sent to concentration camps. The Polish people, they hated the people that were coming in at the end, like from Hungary and stuff, because they didn't have to suffer as long. And this is Gypsy's negative karma following her into this life. You know, she died. She was thrown into a pit. I saw her hand sticking out of the pit like this, mass grave in a concentration camp. And she came into this life not filled with light. She came into this life with resentment and anger from her previous life. And there's got to be at least 2 more lives in between there. World War II and maybe 1, but possibly 2 lives. She's carried this negative karma into this life. But luckily, Dan really wasn't involved. He got away from her, and he will never have anything to do with her again. That's why he sees her as a yoke. And he's not anyone's fool. You know, even if he may have had felonies or whatever in the past, it's done. It's over with. And, you know, and he has good friends, and they tell him things like, stay away from Gypsy. Don't even talk about it. We don't want to hear it. And he's non-duality, so it's like, yeah, he's like balanced. He doesn't trash talk her, nor does he speak well about her. She just like doesn't exist. It's like when integration of the mind and the soul, the mind and the heart, like that. Now you're one. So these 2 warring things, the mind and the heart, fighting over things all the time. Like, here's the ego, here's the heart. And then, no, that's Gypsy. But yeah, so Dan's okay. Dylan Blanchard, he was deeply affected by this whole thing, and he chose to stand up for himself and go. He's making a decent life for himself. He wants nothing to do with this. And Gypsy's still using Satan and stuff, and she's still using, like, wrecking people's lives up, like with the tower. And, you know, like, she's like a whirlwind. She's like a tornado in a closet. Don't put your antiques there, hide your precious things in the closet, because, you know, with Gypsy, because she's just gonna go and ruin it. So, and this is Aurora for sure. I feel that. Oh, I feel so bad for her. Oh, my heart chakra is all lit up right now. She's not going to be there forever. If she exists. I believe she does, but it's just sometimes it's a little confusing. I feel her energy very strongly, and I do believe she's alive, but that she's pushed to the background. So that's it. But Gypsy, we know, we got her. You know, she's acting like a fool, stupidly, and she will have. She's always inventing a new job or career for herself. Something simple. See, look at the pin on a cushion. Come on. So, you know, it's like, how hard of a job is it? You know, her career. It's comfortable for her, whatever it is. Like going on live streams and trying to get more network deals and stuff or whatever. Like, I've heard this and I just heard it again. She will not be relevant in about 2 years. I'm seeing 3 now. So originally it was 2, but 2 to 3 years. No one will care about her anymore. Apparently it's really bad when people don't even care about you anymore. They don't want to trash talk her. And I'm hearing Nicholas, and I just saw it. Prison bars opening. Like, here's the prison gates, and they're going shh, and Nicholas is walking out into the sunlight, into the light. So, okay, I tried to keep this short, but apparently I'm not good at that. I just get so many messages from so many different, like, energies. It's just like, it's crazy. But I'm very grateful. So I want to thank everyone who stayed here till the end to watch this. I love reading your comments. I will get back to you always as soon as I can. I still say, I mean what I say. So now I have 76 subscribers. I'm going to have to go through my subscribers and see, like, who really supports me, who they comments and things like that. And then when YouTube asks me to partner with them, I will see if I can make it to that. You guys, y'all. Sometimes I say y'all, not to sound cool, but just because, so I don't have to gender anybody and misgender you and get anyone upset. But, you know, it's like, it's simple to just say y'all, even though I'm from New York. But so that y'all can always have access to my channel. I don't forget who, you know, is loyal and supportive to me when I was starting out. You know, I've been wanting to do this since 2018 with Meghan Markle, but turns out people know about Gypsy, so I'm happy to oblige. Again, also, if there's anybody else you want me to read about, let me know. There is a community page. If you go to if the main channel on YouTube, my main page, if you look in the community posts, I just put one. I'll read anybody you want me to read. It's pretty easy to tap into that energy. It's just, oh man, I just glanced at this one again, doctor. Although I got a better message, actually. It's not fully about Aurora. It's Gypsy. She's yeah, Aurora and Gypsy both need psychiatric help, like counseling and stuff. Yeah, Aurora is going to accept this help. She's going to be a really good doctor in her life. Obviously, she's a child. She's going to have to see doctors, and they're very caring. My God, that girl is very protected. But Gypsy might be seen as crazy. I mean, we see her that way, but like people will start to see her that way too. Yeah. So yeah, if there's anybody else you want me to read, true crime especially, I like to help people who are, you know, kidnapped or lost or abused or sex trafficked or whatever. I can sometimes see where people are or who did what, and 9 times out of 10, the police or anybody I call, they don't want to hear. They think I want to sue them or get it on. I'm like, no, I just have some information. Even from my own experiences, I've had some pretty spooky, scary, nasty incidents happen to me, and that's the past, and I made peace with my past, you know. But like, I did call the Epstein Commission to give them some information, and they didn't want it. And I'm like, what? You all want answers, but I'm telling you, if you take me to this guy's house on Central Park South, if he still lives there, this man tried to sex traffic me for the Clintons. And they're like, well, you don't have a lawsuit. And I'm like, I'm not trying to sue anybody. I'm trying to help, you know. But that's what I'm about. That's what this channel is about. And thank you all for watching, because you are the best part of this channel. And so I would like it to be that you never have to pay. If you want me to do a very specific reading, I'll do it. You'll never have to be a member to be able to have access to that. I gotta figure out how to do that. If you want an in-depth personal reading, you can contact me through my email. It's TheMOSTTarot@gmail.com, and you can also find that on the channel's main page. I don't know if I can say that. I know I can't put this in this reading's description. YouTube will tear my channel down, but I think I can say it. So let's hope that I can say it. But that's if you want like just you, and you know, I'll do a huge in-depth reading for you. And money's not so much an issue. We can always work something out for that. But yeah, so thank you for your support. Thank you for sticking to the end. Thank you for this little community we have. I love it. Truth seekers, light bringers. And yeah, so next time we're gonna do like maybe Christy and Rod. Christmas is coming, you know, cray. Gypsy's gonna be ramped up, you know, and it's gonna be a lot with the Baby Aurora's birthday, you know. But I do want to try to fit in Christy and Rod somewhere in here. So I'm sorry it went on so long. Once I start channeling, I can't just stop, nor can I edit it. So that's it. Like, everything I've said is what's come through me, and I hope this helped you in some way, or entertained you, or that you found it enjoyable or informative. Okay, with that said, I wish everyone much love, many blessings, enjoy the holiday season, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.